Was the deal concluded, done and dusted, prior to you taking up your position or just after you took up your position?
The actual main contract, I believe, was signed. I didn't sign the main contract; it was signed.
But no, my question was it concluded before you took up your position?
Well,
that's a yes or no.
Referring to the Grant Thornton report and the statement from the board yesterday, which has examined all the documentation around this, it appears the deal was concluded after I took it.
After you took it. So you didn't have an issue either with...
I wasn't involved.
No, but you didn't, as Chief Financial Officer, you didn't say, hold on a second, that's gone in there as consultant fees when the world, you know, when we know that this is a top-up payment to Ryan Tubridy. And you, as Chief Financial Officer, didn't say, hold on, that's incorrect accountancy.
No, no.
That's not right.
Yeah, no,
why would you let that go?
No, that's not what happened.
Why would you? Well, why did you not call out the concealment of those fees going into a barter account under the heading of consultancy fees? Why, as Chief Financial Officer, would you let that go?
I wasn't aware of what they related to. I wasn't involved in
would
processing.
You stop?
No, I wasn't
involved.
You didn't
ask. Chief Financial Officer didn't ask.
You've got to understand the barter account was under the control of the commercial division. It sat outside of finance, and the Director General obviously took a close interest in this barter account.
Okay.
These transactions were processed through the barter account without
any
involvement.
You'd no oversight of that at all?
No oversight, no involvement in processing or approving.
Okay.
They only came on my radar when they were raised as an issue by the auditors in March 23. So I knew nothing.
Oblivious to it.
Yes.
Oblivious to it as Chief Financial Officer. Okay. Right. You were before the Public Accounts Committee in January 22 and the Director General D. Forbes had stated to the members of the Oireachtas Committee that the reduction in the pay salaries for the top earners had been achieved, right? Now we know that in Ryan Tubridy's case that wasn't correct, to say the least, right? You sat there and you didn't correct that as Chief Financial Officer. You let that slide. Why was that?
Because I didn't know.
You what?
I mean, I didn't know.
So you didn't, right, so you didn't know that this commercial deal was done with Ryan Tubridy. Is that what you're saying? You had no idea, because that's not what you said a few minutes ago.
No, I didn't have the full extent of the deal.
But you knew he wasn't being paid in jelly tots. You knew there was money being handed over. So you knew when those figures were published of the salaries that in Ryan Tubridy's case that figure was not correct.
No,
and you sat there and said nothing. One final question.
No, I didn't know that. Sorry, please let me answer that, because I didn't know that. Finance report the published earnings of the top talent, but we can only report what we know and what we're told. If we're not given all the information, or information is concealed or misled from us, we don't have the full facts.
The person sitting beside you didn't give you that information.
No,
is that what you're saying?
No,
she concealed it from you.
I'm not.
Well, that's what you're
I'm not
saying.
using those words.
Yeah, but that's what they're my words.
It wasn't discussed. We
it
did
was
not
concealed
have a discussion.
from you. Yeah.
Well, she didn't.
Yeah, she didn't. So
this deal was constructed by a different person.
Yeah. But this person beside you was involved in negotiating that deal, putting it through the barter account
it wasn't
and everything
her
else.
job
The whole
to brief me on the deal.
It wasn't her job to brief you, right? Okay.
Deputy Munster,
just in relation to one final one, the 2017 and the 2019 payments. D. Forbes claimed that she never knew about the 120,000 payments. So who signed off on that?
There was no 120,000 payments.
There was 50, 50 and 20.
Yeah, what it was look, again...
Who signed off on it?
This was an adjustment that was made to the figures. Basically, in short, Ryan Tubridy was due a loyalty bonus at the end of his contract of 120,000. That was never paid, was never accrued for in the accounts. But for an unexplained reason, that 120,000 was credited against his earnings in the previous, between 2017 and 2019. That's under investigation at the moment by Grant Thornton.
Yeah, but who signed off on it? I mean, you would know as Chief Financial Officer who signed off on it.
No, I didn't sign off on it.
Who signed off on it, I said?
Well, on those earnings.
I mean, look, we had said, and to the Chair of RT, to the Chair of the Board, we had said that when we invite these witnesses, we want the questions answered truthfully. Now, the question is, who signed off on that deal? Who knew about it?
Okay, who signed off on it was the Director General and the CFO at the time.
Okay, and that's to conclude, Deputy Munster, I have to move on.
3 days after I joined RTE. I hadn't taken up the CFO role at that stage.
I have to move on.
Could I just have one very short final question?
30 seconds.
Just in relation to, I think it's for Anne O'Leary. Just curious as to how it took up 6 years for those payments to be identified. That's very strange, is it not?
Well, I have a meeting as the Chair of Audit and Risk. I have a meeting every year with the auditors, but I can only then query them on the matters that they arise. We have a standard number of questions about accruals, about payments, about process. I ask them every year, and every year they've been saying that there was nothing to report. And then this year they did.
And who was that was saying there was nothing to
Sorry,
report?
Deputy Munster, I am going to have to cut you off there. I'm sure you can appreciate I did give as
Okay,
much
okay.
latitude as possible.